everyone, welcome back. My name is Lynn Wilson and I am so glad you're joining me today. I am so excited. We're going to talk about having a fresh perspective on our menu planning for the week. So I want you to come along, join me, get your notebook, maybe get some fresh ideas, and let's do this together. Okay, so what am I talking about with refreshing our menu? And yesterday we talked about all the high prices of gas and just having a fresh attitude. I'm going to bring my little sign back here again. Yes, you know what? Our attitude determines our direction. Now, I will say again, I don't like it. I don't agree with it at all. I don't think that I'm going rah rah. I love paying high prices for things. I absolutely do not, but I refuse to let it get me down or get me frustrated or struggle. I think I got my grandma Ironman in me, and she would just say, you got to do it. She was poor. She had no money. And my grandmother always said, when there's a will, there's a way. And she made it work. Super frugal budget. And I watched her do this. So we're going to do this together. So here's my new plan. I don't know. You might say to me, Lynn, this has no good points or tips for me. Maybe that's the case. Okay, flip to the next video. But for some of you, this might give you inspiration and just some great new ideas. So what have I been doing? So last week I took a roast chicken and I made several meals from it. So here's my new plan for the next little while, let's just say. Okay, so what I did is I took a roast chicken. So I'm going to be taking one package of meat, I shouldn't hold up two fingers, one package of meat per week. And I'm going to make a full week of, let's just say, dinners. I told my husband, bottom line is this, eggs are still fairly cheap. We could do eggs, oatmeal's fairly cheap, we can do oatmeal. There's things like that you can do for a breakfast. You can make toast with peanut butter. Peanut butter's cheap. Jan from New York City did a great video on peanut butter and tuna and how that is an excellent alternative to your stockpile and menus. So go check out that video. I'll try and find it and link it below. But in addition to that, you can get away with breakfast and you can get away with lunch, peanut butter and jelly. Let's face it, we can live on peanut butter and jelly. Now, are we going to do this for the rest of our life? No. Are we doing it for the rest of the year? Probably not, but even if we had to. Okay, what are we in, March? So we have a few months to go, we'll make it work. One day we do jelly sandwiches, another day we do peanut butter sandwiches, then we do peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. We can be creative. Okay, now that's probably not going to be the case every day, but you throw in tuna once in a while. We can get by with breakfast and lunches. It's usually dinners that we struggle with because the meat and everything else is so expensive. So I've decided to do one package of meat per week, and I'm going to do that for the next 6 weeks. 6 to 8 weeks. That's my plan. I want to just not go out and buy anything. I want to use exactly what I have in my freezer and in my stockpile. And I've had people make comments, well, you can't use all that up because, what if something were to happen? Well, you know what? I can't predict that something will or won't happen. But I have this stuff. I have to use it or it's going to go bad. And I've had that happen where I've kept it so long that it did go bad. So I have enough. I'm going to just stretch it out for the next couple weeks and not buy as much as I would normally. Maybe just get some fresh eggs and milk and bread or whatever. But I don't need to go filling the stockpile right now. So what did I do last week? I took one roast chicken, and from that I cooked it up in the crock pot. So I had some broth from that. And I put that broth aside and I deboned the chicken and took all the chicken off and all that and dumped all the grisly bits and the bones and, all that stuff that you kind of go, ugh. The little pouch that comes on the inside with the gizzards and all that. Dumped it back in the crock pot with plenty of water. I put an onion, I put some carrots, I had some celery, some seasonings, garlic and all that. And I cooked that for 24 hours and made a great broth. So then from the chicken that I had, I made chicken sandwiches, hot chicken sandwiches. I made a homemade gravy with some bouillon and some flour and butter and milk, and I just made like a cream gravy, and I put a can of peas in it, and I put some chicken, a little bit of chicken. I didn't use a lot because I want to stretch this. And believe it or not, I put that, and I had some rolls, potato rolls that were getting a little dry, and I was like, what do I do with them? No problem. I opened them up, open face, and I put the gravy and the chicken and the peas on it. It was a great meal. Everybody loved it. You didn't even know the potato rolls were getting a little dry because you had the moisture of the gravy. It was fantastic. I had so much of that left that I put the rest of that in a container. Well, then the next day I was able to make a chicken, like a chicken pot pie or something with that leftover chicken. And I added more. I added corn to it. I added carrots and celery and some onions. And we were able to put that over pasta and do like a chicken pot pie kind of gravy mixture over some pasta. Well, then I had the original broth that I had, plus I had the broth that I made in the crock pot, and I took the chicken and I made a chicken soup. So we've had a chicken pot pie, we had chicken sandwiches, and now I've made chicken soup. And I added extra bits and pieces to that chicken soup, and then the leftover kind of gravy chicken pot pie that I had, I dumped into the soup. So we had another 2 nights of soup meals, soup and toast. That works for me. And you can always change that up and put the soup over, add some rice to it one night and have it just as a bowl of soup the next night. But I ended up getting 4 distinct meals out of it, plus a little bit of leftovers. And I had so much leftover soup, I packaged up 2 quart-sized containers, gave one to my daughter and son, my son and daughter-in-law, and one to my mom. They got food out of the deal. So I was able to take 1 roast chicken. Now, we're a family of 3, so you might be a family of 1 or, 1 to 4. That would pretty much work with you. If you're a family of 1 or 2 and you're saying, well, that's still, let me sit up a little bit. Here we go. That's still a lot of food. Well, that's okay. Take that food and freeze it. And then in, a couple weeks from now, when you're sick of what you're eating, or use it instead of peanut butter and jelly, maybe in a week or 2, you can then go ahead and use that for yourself as an alternative for another meal. So what are we doing this week? So this week I have a package of Italian sausage. I have been craving Italian sausage. I don't know. Crazy, craving it. Okay. So what am I doing? So I have a little bit of sauce in the refrigerator, spaghetti sauce that I need to use up. I have some cans of tomatoes. I've got bits and pieces and all of that. So I said to my husband, you know what? I have some frozen peppers and onions in the freezer. I'm going to take that and add some of the sausage, and I'm probably just going to cut it up in very thin slices and throw that in the crock pot and add maybe a little bit of that red sauce to it. And I have some potatoes I need to use up. We love mashed potatoes. I can do mashed potatoes, and then I can do, I have some broccoli I need to use up. So I can do roasted broccoli, mashed potatoes, and peppers and onions, and a little red sauce and some of the sausage. Now, we're cutting back on meat. I'm not using as much meat as I probably would have in the past. I also have some cabbage in the refrigerator I need to use up. I have some shredded carrots I need to use up. So I thought, you know what? I can do like a stir fry of the cabbage and the carrots, and I'll take some of the sausage out of the casing, and I can fry the sausage up, add that to it, and I might even put that over some plain ramen or something like that. I don't really know. Add some vegetables to it. I have more carrots I can shred up if I needed to bulk it up a little bit, and just make sort of a stir-fry meal out of it. Then I thought to myself, I can always make some sausage sandwiches. I can take this and open it up and lay them flat and make some patties out of it, make some sausage sandwiches out of it. Thought that would be quite nice. And then I had seen on a new vlogger that I'm watching, new YouTube creator called C. Mindy Mom. I think that's the name of her channel. And she has some very budget-friendly meals. And one she did is like a homemade hamburger helper with some canned cheese, some pasta, cans of tomato. I can't remember what else she used. But anyway, I got to go back and watch that. But she used sausage instead of hamburger meat. So I thought, okay, I can do that. So here's 4 meals. I have the hamburger helper style meal. I have the stir fry with the cabbage, sausage sandwiches. Oh, no, I actually can do 5 meals out of this. Then I was going to do the peppers and onions and sausage in the crock pot with mashed potatoes and broccoli. And then I think what I'm going to do is just take the sausage and fry it up. And I have one of those little individual packets of ragu. I had shown you that on one of my, I think it was my Walmart hauls. And it's just an individual package of sauce with some meat. And I thought, you know what, I can bulk up with whatever's left over. I might not have a ton left over. I can add that and a can of maybe stewed tomatoes and some extra sauce and make an extra tomato sauce. Old-fashioned spaghetti. Everybody loves spaghetti with some extra tomato sauce and put it over spaghetti. There's 5 meals, and out of that, we always somehow, it seems to stretch. There's 5 dinners from 1 package of meat. So even if it's stretched and I got 6 or 7 dinners out of it from 1 package of meat. I made 1 roast chicken. I got all those meals out of it. I've got 1 package of sausage. I'm getting a week's worth of food out of it. I'm going to challenge you. What can you do with 1 package of meat? 1 package of chopped meat, minced meat, whatever you might call it, 1 package of chicken, 1 package of sausage. What kind of meat do you have in your freezer that you can stretch? I would love to get ideas from you. I'll tell you what I have. I have some pork chops. I have some chicken. We have some chopped meat. I have another roast chicken. Those are the things that I have. What would you do with one of those packages to stretch it out? I would love to get some meal ideas, menu ideas from you. Also, I am looking, and somebody had left it in the comments, and I cannot remember. I should have written it down, but you gave me 2 apps to look up, and I'm looking for some apps where you put in what ingredients you might have in your refrigerator and your stockpile, and then they give you menu ideas. So if you have a great app that you can share with all of us, I would love that. We're going to refresh our menu. We're going to have a great attitude. We're going to slim down what we do in terms of meat. We don't need to do a lot of meat. 1 package of meat for the next 6 weeks. Every week we're going to pick a new flavor, and we're going to come up with some new ideas. They don't have to be your standard meals. So throw together, go in the stockpile, go in the pantry. What spices do you want to use up? What bits and pieces do you have? We're going to stretch the meat. You can stretch the meat with lentils. You can stretch it by adding extra beans, extra vegetables. We're going to have a great time. We're going to be really creative. What did my husband tell me? Necessity is the mother of creativity. So it's necessary that we now stretch our budget because the cost of food is so high. But most of us probably have some food in our stockpile that we can live on for the next couple of weeks. And, you know, in that time, maybe if you see those good buys, those good sales, you know what? Pick those up as you move forward, stash them away. But we're going to do this, guys. We're going to do it together. Looking forward to those menu ideas that I can borrow from you for my pork chops, my roast chicken, my chopped meat, and my package of just a package of chicken. And what apps do you use to combine miscellaneous ingredients to come up with some great recipes? Thanks so much for coming over. I love chatting with you guys. Hope you enjoyed today. Welcome back to my home. We'll catch you all on the next video.